When you set it up, Mike, you go with the intro.
Give me 1 second. Let me just share it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna share it for you.
I'm gonna disappear for a little bit and then.
Yeah,
Disappear.
I'm gonna disappear too. We're gonna.
I'm gonna share it for you.
I'm gonna disappear for a little bit and then.
Yeah, I'm gonna disappear too. We're gonna.
I'm gonna share it for you.
I'm gonna disappear too. Ladies and gentlemen, it is 5 p.m. on a Tuesday. You know what that is. That means it's time for the Fan Zone. No, Manny didn't become red and Irish like me. It's his background. But yes, you got Hoodie Manny and Mike Phillips back with you again on Tuesdays. I would like to say I do apologize that we weren't here last week. Obviously, duty calls, but we do appreciate the love from people texting us going, yo, where's the show? We are back and we are better than ever. Oh, and we got a lot to talk about today. Manny, how you doing, brother?
Well, as you can see in the background that I have right here, it's one of my favorite characters in the movie Inside Out. Probably watch it with the kids. This is the anger guy. And I have a lot of stuff to be angry about.
He's
And
got the
trust
same
me.
size hands as you.
Yeah, first off, settle down. Because I ain't gonna forget what Smoke and Mirrors did to Polius Brothers and Deck. You know, they mentioned me and this guy, and it's like that's my character. It's all right. But my hands are bigger. So y'all can all catch these hands.
All right. So listen, we've had a lot going on in the last 2 weeks. We've had a lot going on in regards to different things going on in the sports world, in the political world. I want to start first and foremost by addressing some of the stuff I've seen on some of our brother shows. First, in regards to the Sports Hit List Live, one of the biggest debates that they were talking about, is it too early for teams to be considered contenders and to be considered championship teams after 2 weeks? And what are we really doing by looking at rankings and stuff like that? And I got something to say about that, if you give me the floor for a second, Manny.
Oh, by all means.
As
Just
a
right
fan-
after you do that. After that, I have a lot to say.
Oh, I know you
Regarding
do,
something.
and that's why I wanted to go in first, because I wanted to see you get as red as your friend in the back. So I need to say this: you cannot, and this is even as a fan. And I joked and this is me calling the kettle black because I was joking about it 2 weeks ago when I had, go New York, go New York, go. You cannot judge a team 2 weeks in. You can see if there's flaws. You can see if there's issues, but you cannot call a team a contender. The reason why? There's injuries. There's trades. There's just all around slumps. So for people to turn around and say certain players, oh man.
Speaking of drama,
Been at the right time, because we talk about certain teams having certain caliber players, and I see the smirk. We gonna get into it, Triple B, because we have certain teams that have caliber players that turn around and we say automatically, let's give them the chip because of who they have on paper. But we've also seen rifts in those specific teams. So no, you can't judge a book by its cover. You gotta let the book open. You gotta read some chapters, and you gotta see if it needs to be rewritten. Because you have to look at other factors besides just a record. Some of these teams might not have been actually playing the meat and bones. They might have just been playing the skin. And now you're delving in to the actual turkey, the jive turkey, as I like to call it. Now, before I let my man Magic Jr., as you all know, and we had him slip in on us here, I'm going to let him, he's going to have a lot of time to talk today. So I'm going to let him wait on what he has to say on rebuttals. But the last thing I'm going to say is I want to say shout out to Smoke and Mirrors. Bravo to Smoke and Mirrors on that debate on Friday. That debate truly identified what goes on behind the scenes in sports. What do I mean by that? The systematic racism, the political picture that's painted within every sport is always going to be paramount with the sports, with the athletic programs. There is no way to get around that. Having an American flag on your arm, having players sit out for specific reasons. These are always going to be a part of the conversation. You can't say as a Republican or a Democrat, whether you like it or not, it's going to be in front of you. Now, if you're going to be that petty not to watch the sport anymore, then were you really a fan? Because this has been going on even when we were kids. Just because you understand it and because it's more highlighted in your eyes now, doesn't mean that hasn't been going on for years. Look at Pat Tillman in the NFL in the 90s. He went in to the military and lost his life fighting for our country. That's not a political view. Exactly. Jackie Robinson being able to play and the systematic racism that held him down to where he had to play towards the end of his career is not paramount for years.
And being selected as the first black player.
He wasn't the first black player.
No, I'm saying that him being selected, like,
yes,
chosen.
He was chosen. Exactly. He was chosen as the first black
player. That
was
political.
That was political too, because he fit the mold of a Caucasian African-American, as you would like to call it. He was the quintessential look of a baseball player, and that's why they put him in. But this has been going on for years. Just because our past presidents have been more vocal in certain views doesn't mean that this has not been in the athletic picture for many years. And for people to turn around and say it's disgusting, it's not needed, it's unwarranted, means you haven't really ever been watching. Everything in America is political. Gas prices, TV shows,
social media.
All of these factors are political. You walk outside, the way a sign is on, the way the stop signs look can be considered political.
Championship teams deciding or not deciding to go to the White House.
But that's okay if it's a Republican. But then is it okay that it's only when it's Donald Trump that certain players want to come or don't come? And I'm only saying that because that was the last Republican president. But I'm saying, think about it. This has been going on for years. So with that, I'm going to get off of my soapbox for a second. Manny, I know you told me earlier today you got some rants and you wanted to go in on a couple of different factors. And then we have, as everybody knows, we're going to get to our special guest today, and we are giving him the whole hour to speak today because he always needs the whole hour to speak.
I know. Ant got a list of people to hit on to get at. So I already know. But just honestly, it's gonna be a quick 2 minutes. I've been really angry, as you can see with the background.
Yeah, he has
the way as the Raiders have been playing. I understand, the first issue with John Gruden, the Bears destroy us 20-9. We look like nothing. Okay, we're dealing with the outside issues. Okay, next week, we smoked the next team. We win 2 games in a row. Then the Henry Ruggs incident. What ends up happening? We play against the Giants in New York, looking like we're going to come back. Derek Carr throws a pick 6. We get shellacked by the Giants, and I had to hear from Giant fans, Declan. I mean, Declan was okay compared to the other Giant fans that I had to deal with. So I had to deal with that. Then I'm thinking, okay, we're gonna redeem ourselves. We're gonna play against the Kansas City Chiefs, who have been struggling this year. Let's not act like they weren't struggling this year. They were. And what happened? In the Death Star, we get embarrassed by 27 points. Derek Carr is throwing lobs while he's getting tackled. Oh yeah, let me just toss it up in the air and just whoever catches it catches it. Do 2 picks, look pathetic. And honestly, it got to the point like I'm screaming at the TV and I'm just like, you know what? Bench him. Put him Mariota. F that. Like fuck that. Like I was livid. Like I was probably as red as this man right here behind me. But I'm being dead serious.
Or me after a couple of drinks.
But also we signed Deshaun Jackson. And to me, I'm like, okay, he's good, but he's also 34. The man is getting old. He don't have those fast legs that he used to back. He doesn't have that same speed that he had with the Eagles. And even with the Rams, he had one long touchdown, but that was it. That was one touchdown. That's it for this season.
Bro,
with the
what
Rams.
did he do? What did he do in that play? He gets the catch at the 20-yard
He had the
line
touchdown.
and does the salsa. He does the
he
salsa.
had-
And
He
then
had the
fumbles.
touchdown right there. And then they
When he
just
saw
punched
that-
Superman punched it right behind him, fumbles the ball, and that was the first catch he made in the game. That first catch could have been a touchdown and changed the whole dynamic of the game. And guess what? It didn't. We made the Chiefs defense look like the immaculate Ravens defense or the Tampa Bay defense back in 2002 when they destroyed the Raiders in the Super Bowl. Do you understand that? The Chiefs defense is not good. Let's stop it right now. Like I knew the offense was gonna go off because Mahomes kills us, but yet their defense looked immaculate. It was like the '99 All-Star team in Madden.
Yep.
It was that crazy. Like every time Derek Carr is getting murked, and I was like, if I see another Alex Leatherwood penalty, 4-star penalty, I'm gonna choke in myself. Like it's getting to the point like I'm gonna have to pay a visit to Vegas because it's not gonna be a pretty sight, to be honest with you. So right now, if the Raiders don't do, I'm very close to losing hope on them, honestly, because I'm pretty much the only one that's rooting for them. And I'm gonna call out Jay Lex because he became a Raider fan, and the moment he became a Raider fan after he left the Jets, what happened? All the shenanigans started happening. That's all I'm saying. Because the shenanigans was not happening when I've been a Raider fan the whole time.
But that's what you see when you leave the Jets. Shenanigans happen.
Hey, Rex Ryan and Rob Saylor. Bring those hands, baby. I want to see that fight.
Like,
And you see
Saylor's
Jay-
gonna beat the crap out of him.
And you
Nah,
see
you know-
Jay Lex also. You see once he left the Bulls bandwagon, they got good again. So you see,
Mhm.
see how that goes.
And then-
I
And
agree.
don't forget, Scottie Pippen.
Right.
Scottie Pippen going crazy now after that was his number one player.
So
Scotty ain't been right since Jay Lex been rooting on Scotty.
Defending him like I defend Kyrie.
Terrible.
Hashtag free Kyrie.
Well,
As we should.
so as you bring that up, I'd like to welcome in our guest. As he is very well known on the sports hit list streets, he is the president of the Brooklyn division of the Los Angeles Lakers. So I've already given up one of your teams, but and before you come on and we start talking about some of these topics, we always ask every guest that comes on for the first time, who you repping and what is your favorite memory as a child in any sport? So, Mr. Mullen,
That you witnessed live. Remember, it got to be something that you saw live.
As a child,
yeah.
No, even as an adult, like your favorite sports
okay.
moment that you caught live.
All right, cool. Well, first, let me start off peace and salutations to the world. It's great to be invited on here to the fan zone, as it is for the fans by the fans.
Right.
And
Sure.
of course, as you see, by who should be the logo and Kobe, the GOAT, Black Mamba Bryant, and you can tell by this purple and gold Big Baller brand hat and this Adidas little sweater with a certain logo on the side. That yes, I will be repping the Lakers as I always do, as I am the Laker Nation Brooklyn Division president. So I must do what I am here to do so I do not get fined. Yes, you know why I'm here. And let me see. My favorite moment would, of course, I always would have to say, was my very first game live, which was I can't remember the year, but it was the Lakers versus the Knicks, and Kobe smashed them, totally killed them, and that was my first game live. He shot like 70%, something crazy, had like if not 30 something points or whatever the case may be. It was also a great experience because I realized what they said was true. By halftime, all of the executives was done with their meetings and stuff like that. So I was able to go down and sit behind the Lakers bench or whatever the case with all the other people who came up from the nosebleeds. I wasn't in the nosebleeds, but still, once I seen somebody from the nosebleeds who was in my section, I was like, well, if they can come up there for here, I can go from here to down there, right? So yeah, and that's what I did, and it was a great night. Great night.
That's awesome. And of course, the Knicks got smoked at the Garden. That's
Shut
always
Yeah,
your
lovely
definitely,
too.
definitely.
Shut your mouth. So, Anthony, we always love you coming on any show because we know the dynamics that you are going to bring to any show. So anybody that's pulling up right now has their popcorn ready. And I'd like to start with, you've heard what I had to say about the Lakers after the last couple of weeks. And I want to hear your take on this team right now. Obviously, you might be biased in your opinion, but I
Me,
want
never, never,
stop it. If it was you, the Lakers would be the
never.
only team in the NBA. But with that being said, I want to
They
hear what
already
you
are,
think.
but continue.
Oh my God.
Oh
It already
Continue.
man.
begun. It's already begun. Listen, what is your take on this team right now? And I want you to take a approach of the different pieces that were added to this team. Do you truly feel they're starting to gel? Do you feel there's certain changes that need to be made? Is there coaching changes that need to be made? Or do you think it's more so different lineups that might need to be changed? So I'm giving you the floor. I don't know if I should take that back yet, but I'm giving you the floor.
Well, if we're gonna start with any change, let's start. Well, not with the change you're asking, but a change that has happened. Let's first start with acknowledging a great change that not a lot of people agree with, and that's us getting Russell Westbrook. Shout out to Russ, or whatever the case. And I believe, even though, how I would label the start of this season is we're floating, and that's a good thing. We're floating. We're staying afloat in the situation in which I don't think it's ideal for us to stay afloat, being that for one, we still haven't had any real semblance of our entire roster or who's going to be our key guys going down the stretch and into the playoffs. We still have a reason. These guys, none, all these people who need to come back and get them included into the system and everything. Like, everybody get their chemistry together. And once they come back, then we had LeBron go out. So, that's gonna put a little damper on, the talent that we had left, from those.
Apparently,
Mhm.
apparently they're saying that LeBron might actually come back on Friday.
Yeah, I read
Yeah,
that.
he's gonna come back. He come back. I'm just saying, and I'm just saying he went out for a while. He was out like what, a week or so.
Yeah.
So we lost Braun for a while, and not to, like I said, we haven't had our team. So pretty much we're just treading water, like, what I feel like we should do. We have the talent to tread water. You know what I mean? Like we took a lot of bad losses or whatever, but that's, to me that's understandable. We're pretty much a whole brand new team. With all the guys we just brought in and stuff like that, and we're just going through the motions. We're trying to get it together. Trying to build that chemistry, try to get things right, tweak this, see what works, see what doesn't. Fortunately, we would have if everybody. I guess I don't feel we took the not the off season, but I don't feel we took the summertime that serious. I think we should have, even though I understand we're older, so we gotta, you know, be easy with how much mileage we're putting on these guys. But I feel
especially
like
Melo.
him to really, I feel like
Hey,
like
I love it.
as we see, Braun and stuff. I think he's really like he was a machine to begin his career, but you start seeing the chinks in that machine as age starts to catch up with him. So I understand him not playing much in the preseason and things like that. But I feel like that would have helped us and for a little bit because now actually as I think about that, like I said, we still don't really have all of our key guys that we need. So but like I said, it would have helped. But to get past that, I feel like we're treading water. I like where we are. I like what I see. I don't like everything because, like I said, everything isn't 100%. But you know what I mean. I like where we at the moment.
So I'm gonna jump in on that. And
Wait,
and
hold
I-
on. Hold
Go
on.
ahead, go ahead, man.
Quick question for you, Ant.
Hmm.
When would you be like a little? What will get you worried about the Lakers going into the season? Like, let's say after the All-Star break, nothing's really clicking. Like you guys are not. Say you guys maybe got like 30 wins, and like you guys are trailing. Like you're probably catching like the final playoff spot, or the play-in spot, or something like that. Like, would you be a little bit worried about that regarding your team or no? Or you think hopefully that there'll be some like
It's
are there any possible trades that you would prefer right now that you think can help the team more by
well,
sacrificing one of your players?
me personally, no, I don't prefer a trade. Like I don't think we need to trade anybody or anything like that. I
Okay.
prefer like we stay the course. I prefer that we get right. I prefer we get healthy and then see where the chips fall. That's what I'm really waiting to see. And truthfully, until like I said, we get the team that we were supposed to have, I can't really gauge,
Okay.
whether to go left or right or, be up or down or anything like that. So at the moment, I'm just, being observant. I'm just watching, and it's really all based on the circumstance. Like if we were in this situation, minus all of the, like I said, the injuries and like I said, us being a new team and stuff like that, if we was in this situation and everything was just good across the board, I would for sure be worried. For sure. I would definitely
Okay.
be worried, like, okay, this thing isn't looking right, at all. We're getting blown out by, weak teams and stuff like that. But, it's pretty much understandable and fathomable why, we're getting off to this, I guess you would say a slow start for a team who everybody had making the championship. So, it's a slow start or whatever the case may be, but nothing to fret about or anything like that. Just stay the course.
Okay.
But
All right.
again, see that's it right there. Is on paper, and this goes back to what was talked about on the Sports Hit List Live last Wednesday. On paper, all of these veteran players, all of these stars, right? And I know we fight about superstar star or whatever, but these
We'll call them
elite,
all stars or stars. I
these
understand what you mean.
elite athletes, I'll
Right.
call them elite athletes, are all on the same team. But we've seen that for some of them, father time has caught up to them. I believe. I believe in father time catching up to LeBron now. He never used to get injured. Never used to get injured. That man was like the bionic man. All of a sudden, you're starting to see he's starting to get the aches and pains. And whether he wants to believe it or not, age is catching up to him with the amount of years he's played. Russ has had some god awful games. And I don't know if it's because he is not the main piece anymore. And that's why it's not getting him into a rhythm, but it's not working. Melo, to me, and I'm not being biased because Melo was a Knick and I'll always be a Melo fan, but Melo is to me the best player right now. He's the one that's keeping you in a lot of games. But at the same time, and I
He's
know
doing his thing. I wouldn't exaggerate and call him the best player, but I for sure Melo is a
I
key.
don't think
He's
I
a
don't
key
think
player.
I don't think Anthony Davis is right now. I don't think Anthony Davis is being the best player. I honestly don't.
How do you not think Anthony Davis is the best player?
That's a little bit outlandish, Mike.
I
What
Anthony
think
is what
Davis
right
is
is.
now,
okay?
right
Now,
now
just
without
to
I
no, so
mean,
just to compare, what is Melo doing that Anthony Davis is not
Melo's
doing?
coming off the bench and scoring at least 20 points to keep you guys into games.
Okay, Anthony Davis is starting, and he's what, top 10 in scoring,
Yes.
like what,
Okay, but you
25,
have,
20.
but let me tell you this: you have Anthony Davis by himself. You winning games?
He's not by himself. He got Westbrook.
Okay, no, like what is that question supposed to exactly? What is
Melo
that
is more
supposed
of
to
that
prove?
supporting piece that's giving you that opportunity to
But
stay in.
Melo's
So you're saying Melo by himself? If Anthony Davis goes down with LeBron down, and Melo by himself will win us
No,
games.
and
Is
that
what
was
you're
going to be
saying?
my next point. And that was going to be my next point because I don't see Melo being able to sustain the amount of points he's been able to sustain so far. So I don't even think I'm saying he's the best player right now on the team, but
Hmm.
I don't even think he's going to be that good. So that's why I don't know where they go. I don't know where they go. I feel like there's so many different veteran pieces that you don't know where to fit them.
We know where to
Look at
fit
the
them. We
way
just have to get it. We just have to get the chemistry and find out where they go. It's not necessarily about fit. Is where on the piece of the puzzle that you go. We're not going to force you down here. We're going to put you where you need to be, and that's what we have enough smart basketball players to figure out where everybody needs to be. But again, we need to get those guys playing together. And we need to, and once we get that going, then we can figure all that other stuff out. Again,
Would you say
which is why I don't, have much of I guess, care, or why I'm not, upset, or why I'm not, shaky or anything, is because again, we haven't had our team. You know what I mean? Like it's again, we played the first few games, the first week or so, like that or whatever, and we were good. We were basically, doing what we were supposed to do, and then like I said, injuries happened. We already came in shorthanded, and after that, you can't really judge these like last week once Braun went out and everything like that. It's nothing really to judge because that's not the team that you want to win. We do not want Anthony Davis by himself. No, we do not want Melo or Braun or Westbrook to play by themselves. No, that's why it's a team game. Once we get our team on the court, then talk to me.
So can I ask you this though? Are you saying that are you logically thinking that this team will mesh together, all these veterans, as a Laker fan or a fan of the NBA? And I say that in this realm. You
Mhm.
take half those players and you put them on a different team. Do you think they're going to succeed?
Yes, like again, because of the play that like I said this, I made a vlog to start the next day after we got Westbrook to say why I liked everything about it before I even seen the rest of the team. Again, because of the end, like he's that engine. Again, now that LeBron, whether it's rest or injury or whatever the case may be, he can find his pocket and do him. Yes, he has been having some bad games or whatever the case. He started off slow and shaky, but to me, that's expected with the type of player he is because this is the first time where technically he's third fiddle. He's not even first or second fiddle anymore. He's third fiddle. So that's not going to look the same as it. So if you're looking for the same old, 30 point, 20 point triple double Westbrook, you're not going to get that. You got to understand the position he has to play at the moment, which yes may take some time for him to actually, get accustomed to. But I don't feel it's something that he's not going to be able to do eventually. Like in every position he's been in, he's adapted, and that's what I feel like about smart basketball players. They will adapt, they will get it together, and it will look right.
So do
If
you
you want to,
see?
if you want to compare it to somebody, compare it to maybe the Heat or whoever the case when they got together early and things was looking shaky. You say the same thing. Bosh, he went
The
from
Nets. Don't
the
forget about the
Nets
Nets,
to
Law.
and
When they
even
got
then
Harden,
they
it took
started
some
with
time.
injuries and stuff like that. So it was the same speech, but again, to me and other people like who, if you just look at the game, what are you judging? If you're judging them as is, then then that's asinine. Like, why would you judge them again with LeBron out? Why would you judge them with all of our role players and different guys out? And even like that with other teams, why would you even judge them in their first few games?
Mhm.
To me, yes, all-star game after whatever the case may be, you can panic. That doesn't mean I am, but I would say it's more justifiable. At the moment right now, everything is just wanting to jump the gun. I understand, we make this world turn, the Lakers that is. So, you know what I mean? I understand everything has to be, the worst thing happening. It's a soap opera over here. Everything is a story. This is what it is. This is how it goes over in La La. So you know what I mean?
Would you feel?
What you say?
Nah, I wasn't gonna say because we do ifs here. Carl, we do ifs here in the fans.
Burn the shirts.
Would you feel that if Buddy Hield went to the Lakers instead of Westbrook, would you feel like the Lakers would have been doing a lot better, even with the chemistry going on and stuff? Oh,
yes.
Uh-oh.
Do I feel we would have been doing a lot better? I wouldn't use that adjective. I wouldn't say a lot. Would we be doing better?
Okay.
I will say, if I had to choose, and this is an if, I would say no.
We don't do ifs.
No.
Oh.
And
We
why?
don't do ifs.
And why?
How
Don't
do
do
you
that.
slide
no,
in and try to take over our show?
Because
And
they
why-
because they
doing
gave
right
me
now?
money and I'm the
Let me tell
executive
that guy
producer. I can do
something.
whatever the hell I want.
Why I say no is because if we would have had Buddy Hield at the moment, I don't feel that he would be able to do what Westbrook is doing in LeBron's absence. So with LeBron and everybody, I feel maybe Buddy Hield would have played. He would have fit better. His role would have been easier for sure. As far as he's just a spot up shooter, or he can get his own shot or whatever the case may be. Hit an open basket.
Testing. Can you hear me?
So yes, I feel like. Actually, no, I'm saying no. I feel like we wouldn't be better with Buddy Hield, but I'm saying yes, the Buddy Hield trade, I will never not say that it would have been a more smoother transition and maybe a better fit. But again, when you have great talent and enough IQ, it'll fit.
All right, so before we go over to our EP, who decided to jump in and
You didn't get the dress code. Where's your hoodie?
Exactly.
Look at that.
Where's your hoodie?
God.
First of all, I'm busy
Where is
producing.
your
I'm actually
hoodie?
working right now. I don't need a hoodie.
Oh.
I'm producing right now. I got a live basketball game I'm about to produce. So they
Oh,
wanted me to come in. I
yes.
came in.
No.
So I do want to
Oh.
say that the biggest test for the Lakers is going to be when it's back-to-back games, when they're starting to play more games in December, in January. So
When they play
I think-
Brooklyn
well,
on
stop.
Christmas Day.
Stop
When
it.
they
Listen,
play
we
Brooklyn,
don't have
Kyrie
tests in the
comes
regular
back.
season.
If
Remember
Kyrie
that.
comes back.
Oh,
If
hope
Kyrie
Merry
comes
Christmas
back.
Day. Merry Christmas.
No, I
Merry
will
Me and
say-
Christmas.
Kyrie gonna be watching the same. We're gonna be watching the game on the same couch. Stop it.
So
Stop
as
it.
we always like to do, we like to make some surprises, and we like to bring on people that got some riffs and some rants and some issues. So we were talking to our EP before, Mr. Carl Coulange, and he said he wanted to slip into the show and he had something to say. So, Mr. Coulange, the floor is yours.
Just a couple minutes. Thank you all for all your hard work and dedication. For those who don't know, Anthony is the reason why we have 7,000 followers on Facebook. He shares in like 100,000 groups.
Salute.
He's not benched. People may believe that he's benched, that I'm not using him on camera, but he does the back end work, and I couldn't do it without him. So that's a shout out
Who
to
said
him.
I'm
and
benched?
He's consistently
I cannot be benched.
Again?
I said, who said
We
I'm
just don't have a
benched?
topic for you yet. But I just was, I hate when people do this, and sometimes we catch ourselves doing this when we try to discredit someone because we say, well, they didn't deserve something. And, like, I understand we're in the sports media world and we want to create narratives and want to have conversation, but I personally don't think it's fair when we do that. And even Manny and I have had this conversation about, he goes like, oh, Jason Kidd deserved that, 2002 MVP award, right?
Yes, he
Tim
did.
Duncan. But we don't know the value of what Tim Duncan, which is why he won. People vote for a specific reason. The writers are there. That's their job. That's part of their media credentials for them to vote. Who are we to sit here and say, well, that person doesn't deserve it? The conversation was, I think Alex Correa saying that Gia didn't deserve his 5.
Carlos Correa.
Carlos Correa said that Gia didn't deserve his 5
Golden Gloves.
Gold Gloves, right? Yeah, Golden Gloves, right? So, and people in the comments saying he didn't deserve it. I find that, disrespectful. I think we need to stop and appreciate the athletes for what they want. Clearly there was enough votes that person didn't win. And it's not even about being favoritism. Clearly there wasn't enough votes for the person to win and qualify. And we always love to do this, right? We're going to say, well, the media doesn't know what the hell they're doing. Then we'll say the players themselves don't know what the hell they're doing. So what makes us as fans more qualified to tell a professional who's doing what they do as a professional, and even a professional writer, that they're wrong and we're right? And we love to do that.
Because
And no
we're the
one can seem to
fans.
answer that question. When I answer that, when I ask that question,
Can I answer it?
no
Can I
one
answer
seems
it?
to answer it.
Because
Can I
we're
answer
fans, and we have the right to. We're fans.
No, because some people have
What
more
right is
common
that?
sense than others. That's why. Them having a
Oh, so
job
fans
and
have more common. So what you're
them,
saying is
yes,
that fans have more common sense.
your job title. Go ahead.
No, so fans have more common sense. The people who actually have the titles, who have the experience in playing.
Yes,
Mind you, we all
some.
don't have experience playing, and no disrespect, all four of us don't have experience playing at a high level. But we
Listen,
have more
watch
experience
yourself.
to tell
Watch
them
yourself. I'm
that
an
they're
all-star
wrong.
in Sunday softball. All right, watch yourself.
Listen, I played 1 year
I
at
used to
CYU.
kill
My
that
jersey's
stickball. Don't
retired
play
at
me.
St. Boniface. All right, I played 1 year, so that doesn't make me. So what makes us fans? Again, we're fans for a reason. I understand we're going to create banter, we're going to have conversations, but what makes us qualified to sit here and say the professionals are wrong? Nothing.
Because we do the same
Again,
thing.
No one can prove me
We're
and tell
doing
me.
the same thing.
Again,
You have somebody like you have.
Tell me I'm
Hold on.
wrong.
You have somebody like Andres. You have somebody
I
like
gotta go.
Andres.
I gotta
Mr.
get back to
Numbers,
it.
right?
That's all I'm saying.
You telling do my check?
You got someone like Andres,
Okay.
Mr. Numbers, who's reviewing everything,
Calvin, you
looking
guys
at
ready to do my
numbers,
checklist?
looking at stats. You have us as fans that do the same thing. We look at stats.
Oi.
We can compare them to other players just like they're doing.
I'm trying.
That's not a part of my argument. That's fair. But then we're sitting here saying that they're wrong. It's fair. It's an objective opinion at the end of the day.
Because we can look at stats and see that someone might have had a
Right.
big stat.
It's all about logistics. It's all about your logic behind it.
But again,
And what are
keep
you
in mind,
using to
man,
justify?
I have to head out because I got to get back to work. But keep in
All
mind,
right.
you have a panel full of voters saying this is right, and they're basically saying like it's not just one person; it's a vote.
Well, they're
Anthony
wrong.
You're
Davis
basically
was
telling them, if they're
robbed.
wrong, I'm right. That's
Anthony Davis
Say
was
again?
robbed.
of what
Anthony
award.
Davis was robbed of the Defensive Player of the Year when they gave it to Giannis. He was robbed.
No, his eyebrow got it.
Got it. I gotta go, guys.
Wow.
Got it.
Is this
All right, thank you, Carl, for coming on. Yeah, I have to say, Peter in the comments turned around and said Carl makes himself look like he's Vince McMahon. I have to tell you, right now, when he was in that production studio, it looked like he was Vince McMahon. It looked like he was for Raw, and
Hey,
they
he was in
had, like, 5
Connecticut.
minutes before the pyros. So we do appreciate Carl coming on. I know this is a debate that will be discussed tomorrow on the Sports Hit List Live. So I know he'll be going against one of our friends and one of our many guests from the
Frenemies.
zone.
Frenemies.
Frenemies. I don't know if well, maybe you're frenemy because he makes fun of your hands. But
First
you know,
off,
I have to tell you, Mr. Greg Polius, it's going to be Carl versus Greg in regards to the narrative that is created. But I do like the narrative that he brought up because us as fans are doing the same things and not getting paid for it that a lot of these writers are doing. And what the writers are doing, and they never specify, is it's the same idea. Think of yourself as a fan watching a boxing match, right? You're watching a boxing match, you're seeing the punches thrown, you're seeing the hits taken, you're seeing the knockdowns, but then you see the scorer's cards, right? One scorecard, you're like, oh, I agree with that. Another scorecard has it for the other guy. What are they looking at, right? And it's all about perspective. The common fan perspective is we are looking at it at a certain way. We're seeing how they've competed for our team. We've seen how they competed in a specific league. And that's where we're coming off of our determination, hopefully similar to what the writers are doing. But there's a logistic that the writers are looking at that it could come down as to how many games a person played. It could be one less game and all of a sudden they give it to someone else. That is how minute and how much of a stickler they are. So does that give them the right because they're getting paid for it and because they have the title? You can have a title. I can go on and write an article right now in the New York Post about the New York Knicks and call myself a sports beat.
Exactly. The title does not give them more knowledge or does not give them more, insight or whatever the case may be on a topic. They may actually have more insight by actually having more inside sources and different things like that to talk to. But when it comes to just common sense and what you see or analyzing, what happened and different things like that, again, any logical, person with common sense and knowledge of the game who can articulate themselves can basically break it down the same way. And like you said, based on their perspective, because everybody has a different perspective
Right.
of the way they see things. So again, it's all about also listening to what that person is using to break down this and break down that. And that usually is where debate comes along, because everybody has a different perspective on how we analyze sports. And that's where it starts the debates.
There you go. Now, Manny, speaking of perspective, your man Kyrie of the Brooklyn Nets has been getting some flacka, over the past couple of months because of his feelings on the vaccine. But didn't we see something similar just happen in the NFL?
Hold on, Kyrie did what?
So Manny, I'd like you to bring up our next topic.
Oh, first off, you said flaca. That's skinny, bro. Like, you try to say flack in Spanish? Nah, man.
Come on.
Go. What's the SFC tuition treating you like, man? Come on, learn better.
Listen,
my man Ruben could have hit you up, man. You could have spoke to Ruben. You could have gave you. You just finished telling me about Washington Heights. How you knew all the people there. I was just gonna say, I learned that at the bodegas. You was the gringo and everything like that. Everybody respected you because they thought you was a cop. Come on, man. Be better than that, Mike.
They used to call me Flocka too. I guess I was skinny back then. I don't know.
Hey, there you go. So yeah, I understand. And shout out to Smoke and Mirrors. Shout out to the Lob Show last week. They brought up this whole thing with Aaron Rodgers disclosing that he was immunized, and obviously the entire media came at Kyrie because he decided to choose not to get vaxxed. According to my source, there was talks about him thinking about getting vaxxed, and then obviously he was going to do his research, but apparently he decided to go against it, whatever. And, at the end of the day, you got to respect it. It's his choice. Does it hurt my team's chances of winning a chip? Of course it does. Does it, am I pissed about it? Hell yeah. But at the end of the day, because I do want that trophy in Brooklyn, but it's his choice at the end of the day, and that's it. Hey, he's losing. I know. Man, you invited. You're an honorary member. But, it's his choice at the end of the day. He's the one that's losing out on millions and stuff. I'm not losing out on any money. None of you guys are losing out on the money that he's getting if he doesn't play. Obviously, he's still getting paid for the away games. And, the Nets did everything they could, did what they could, and came to an agreement just like, okay, you're not going to play until you're vaxxed. And that's it at the end of the day. But then you had Aaron Rodgers, who's playing another physical game. And he says he's immunized. And I believe Stefan and Greg have pointed out, and Carl, I believe also, you got to blame the media too for not asking the correct questions, the follow-up and stuff. In a way, yes. I'm not defending I'm not defending Aaron Rodgers on that. But you should have come straight up and say, are you vaccinated? Yes or no? It's a simple yes or no. He could have said, no, I am not. I am immunized. That's it. Honestly, if you could have acted like that. So screw that reporter for asking atrocious questions. But obviously, Stephen A. Smith, shout out to Jay Williams. Jay Williams called out Stephen A. because Stephen A. is the biggest Aaron Rodgers fan. He's a bad man. All that BS that he always talks. But with the whole thing with the vaccine with Kyrie, Stephen A. destroyed him every minute he could. And the only person that defended was Jay Williams. So then the fact that shout out to Michael Scott from The Office, how have the turntables have turned?
How the tables have turned. I got you.
Thank you. And Aaron Rodgers, now all the media, now Stephen A. is destroying his own guy, the guy that he won. But it took some time. Shout out to Jay Williams for calling him out.
Is he actually destroying him though?
He's slightly like what is it like when you got in trouble at a family function when you were little and your aunt or uncle saw what you did and they just like tap you real quick and that's
okay.
Not like because if you did it in front of your parent, they'll beat the crap out of you. It doesn't matter.
Right.
But yes. So, kudos to Jay Williams for coming at him for that, honestly. Should they have buried Kyrie? No, they shouldn't have because it was his choice. But if you're going to bury one athlete for doing it, you got to bury every single other athlete that was doing it as well. And the thing is, Kyrie straight up said it that he's not getting vaxxed. Aaron Rodgers didn't even say he was getting vaxxed at all. So, again, You got to come at Aaron Rodgers. I mean, look what he did this week. He showed that the Packers do need him. Honestly, they do need him. He is a great athlete. I can give you that. At the end of the day, just like Kyrie when he comes back eventually. But on my take, it's just if you're gonna come at one, you gotta, it's like what Carl says, consistency. You gotta be consistent. If you're gonna give energy to one athlete, you gotta give it to every other athlete as well.
So I want to jump in on that before I let you respond, Ant.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel the media played this? Because you got one side that was portrayed as a villain, but then you had the other side, right? Now you have two major leagues in the NBA and the NFL. The NBA stood by their choice, where they said, okay, he'll be able to play at away games. And then the Nets organization said, well, that would just be too much of, not a headache, but it would be too much of a distraction. So it's either get vax or you have to sit for now. But then you have the NFL where, mind you, there were head coaches and offensive coordinators at Minnesota Vikings, to name a few, that were quitting their job and losing their job because of their feelings against the vaccine, right?
Even ESPN workers.
Yeah, even ESPN workers.
All across the board.
But then you have this guy who comes out, he had this whole I'm not coming back, this whole issue with Green Bay, and then walks back in like he's Vince McMahon, right? Because Green Bay was taking him back. He said, I'll play this season. Then he goes and says, yeah, I'm immunized. We all can say that. We've been we got immunized when we were children for the freaking polio vax. Anything. You could say that for anything. But yes, you're right. The reporter should have kept going, but that wasn't the narrative the reporter was following. You have to understand that first interview wasn't about the vaccine. That first interview was, how is Aaron Rodgers' head in being in Green Bay? So that's what people are not remembering. That wasn't the idea about the vaccine.
We're not gonna do that. The vaccine is always
no. Listen to me. Hold on.
Because they ask a lot of athletes,
especially now.
though.
Yes,
it's always a topic.
But I'm not saying the reporter's right. I'm not saying Aaron Rodgers is right. I'm actually saying that how the media has treated this and how the NFL treated this is absolutely wrong. That man blatantly lied to you for 9 weeks, playing for 9 weeks until he finally caught COVID, to turn around and say, all right, while he has COVID, he's out. But then the next game, when he's off the PUP list, yeah, you can come right back. But then you have another person on the other side with Kyrie Irving that's being villainized. So why do you think this is happening? And this goes back to the general statement I made before about systematic racism that is presented and politics that is presented in sports. This is the perfect example because you have polar opposites and you're seeing the view of these polar opposites. So I would love to hear from you, Ant.
Well, it's not really much new to say. Y'all said everything, but what I want to point out is everybody wants to talk about, the media should have, asked some follow-up questions and all this other thing. Well, in fact, the media, many of the media, if not all of the media, and I'm going to say all because we all know everybody talks to each other, they already knew that he was not vaccinated. They already knew that he wasn't vaccinated. There was no follow-up or whatever. Everybody talked about that. That's why there wasn't really a follow-up, because it was not a secret to anybody, not a secret to the NFL, not a secret to the team, not a secret to the media. Again, and everybody knew, hence why he was able to, get clearance to do things, even though other people couldn't. He was getting clearance to pretty much walk around as if he was vaccinated. So the difference is, as you pointed out, is that he's not an African American basketball player, and that's pretty clear. Because could somebody tell me this? Would they have allowed Kyrie Irving to say, I'm immunized? Would there not have been 300 follow-up questions to I'm immunized.
They would have hit him with the Drewski. What do you mean by that?
Would that not have over and over and over had to be clarified?
Every single game. Because let's not
Exactly.
forget.
But the reason that it wasn't is because, again, they knew, and now they're trying to play like they didn't, and everybody's trying to save face, which is why I'm not buying any of it.
No, I'm not
Also, let's not forget that Aaron Rodgers on the Pat McAfee show tossed a shot at Kyrie, mentioning the flat earth as always.
Because
that's going to stick by him no matter what.
Because he knows what everybody else knows. That's the punching bag right now. That's the target right now. You want to get anybody off your back? Just mention Kyrie. That's what he was trying to do. He was trying to pass the buck. And then another thing, again, with the differences as far as everybody wants to now talk about, he lied or whether he didn't lie, and if the media left him off the hook. Where's all the talk about all of these people who died of COVID and, these hundreds of thousands and all the old people,
these families and stuff like that,
family who's dying and the families that Rodgers is putting in jeopardy and all this. Where's all that talk? Where's all this seriousness to why, this guy shouldn't have been allowed to do what he was doing? Where's this vitriol for the NFL for allowing him to have, these special rules in which he doesn't, have to follow unvaccinated player guidelines? Like, why is everybody passing the buck because everybody know that they was part of the machine? Everybody was part of the dump on Kyrie, but let's keep buried and hope stayed buried, which is why they didn't say anything. But then Rodgers went and had to get COVID or whatever the case may be, and they tried to bury the fact that not only him, but there are plenty others who are vaccinated or who are unvaccinated. And then also, again, with the whole political black and white thing, there's actually a higher percent of NFL players that are unvaccinated, but nobody's talking about that. Everybody wanted to talk about the little 2-3% of NBA players, really just Kyrie, who's unvaccinated, and then act like, oh, well, no, we're talking about sport because he's not going to be allowed to play, even though, again, it wasn't about sport. Every time they talked about Kyrie, it was about all the lives he's putting in danger. It was about how stupid he is for not getting vaccinated, and all these other things we have not yet and will never hear about Aaron Rodgers and him not being vaccinated. When I first heard he was immunized, to me, I already know what that meant. It definitely meant he wasn't vaccinated, but it either meant what I thought was that he caught COVID and he beat it and he has the antibodies like many people do. But come to find out, it's even worse. It's not even that. He went and he took some elixir or whatever that he looked up or something like that. And, and now he's deeming himself. He took medical
advice from Joe Rogan.
Right, and he's deeming himself trans-vaccinated, and it's just cool. So, like, are we anti-COVID or are we pro, choice and like when does it?
Oh, he got kicked.
I guess that was a mic drop on his end. So we had Magic Jr., as he likes to call himself, on the show today, and hopefully we can get him back in the last couple of minutes before we end. But he was bringing up some great points, and I'm going to be consistent right now myself because I was very harsh on Kyrie. And
I know.
I'm not going to change my stance on how I feel about what Aaron did too, because I think what Aaron did was stupid, was messed up towards his team. He put his team in jeopardy. Because if he got it, which he did, yeah, he's wearing masks or whatever, but you don't know what's going to happen. All because you're trying to think about it. The reason why he's doing it and why he didn't sit out is because technically it's a contract year for him, where he can, after this year, finally leave Green Bay. He's auditioning because he does not want to be in Green Bay anymore.
You better get away from the AFC West. That's all I know. I'm tired of seeing great quarterbacks in my division.
He might be your quarterback soon. I don't know.
He should have been with us a couple years years ago, like a decade ago. We could have had him and drafted Megatron. I'm still haunted by that every single year.
But again, same as I've said about Kyrie, and listen, I respect that Kyrie is still standing by his stance. It wasn't something that was just a political view for a week, and then he's finally like, you know what, my pocket's hurting, I'm gonna go play, whatever. He's really sitting it out, and I respect him because it is a silent protest against his views. What Aaron did was straight out, I'm better than anybody else, and I don't need to follow the rules.
And then he tried to backtrack it too.
Yeah, and I say shame on the NFL, because the NFL should have stepped in and said, well, you didn't follow our COVID vaccine policy, and similar to a mandate, because they do have a mandate in certain sports, and now you have to sit out X number amount of games. He should have been punished. Not, you're sick, you're not feeling well, all right, you're out for a little while, and then you can go back. How is that fair? What are you showing people now? Now you're showing there's no accountability, because what you're showing is other players now going forward can do whatever they want, and they could always point back to what happened with the Aaron Rodgers situation.
I wonder if they would have done the same. The same procedure would have occurred. The same issue that happened with Aaron Rodgers. I wonder if the NFL would have did the same thing if Lamar Jackson said that.
Or Deshaun Watson. If, say, Deshaun Watson didn't have any of the issues going on, right? And he was actually playing with Houston. And he was disgruntled with Houston, just like Aaron was disgruntled with Green Bay. If he was found to not get the vaccine, they wouldn't put an investigation in. They wouldn't do all this other stuff. Why is it that this, and I hate using this, and I fight with Declan all the time when he brings it up, the face of the NFL. I hate saying the face because there's so many different facets and so many different stars and athletes, like elite athletes in the NFL, that you can't just pick one as, yes, there's some that are the face more because they're a quarterback and because they're putting up bigger numbers, but you could say the same thing about a JJ Watt or other players that are doing stuff on the back end that are bringing the NFL to a different level. That's why I say you can't really say the face. But if you say Aaron Rodgers is the so-called face, and you don't even make an example of him, you're showing that it's a farce. It's all a farce. There's nothing to it. And you're showing that it's a joke. And if you're showing it's a joke, then why are other people going to follow it? And as a fan, where you have young people watching this, right? Let's think of it that way. Again, the political view, the political picture that's brought in. Accountability stands tall when you're trying to raise your child. But to see that Aaron Rodgers won't get in trouble for what he's doing, where's the accountability? So, Manny, what are your hands of the week, brother?
Well, I don't know if Ant's coming back. My hands of the week go to the entire Raiders coaching staff and the entire team. Obviously, the defense tried their best to hold Pat Mahomes, but if the offense is not helping and giving them terrible positioning and stuff, and giving an advantage to the Chiefs to get closer and stuff, we know how that Chiefs defense is. I feel like this game just made them bounce back and put fear into the league to the other teams. Like, hey, Chiefs are here still. So it's, mine goes to the Raiders. If I see Derek Carr throw another bullshit lollipop up in the air and it comes in interception, I'm pretty much going to fly out there and just literally try to.
Give him those tiny hands behind you.
Funny guy. I'm going to dress up like him. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to dress up like him and give you and all these Raider haters. And before you go, I need to bring something up. Travis McKay, the so-called football guy, you got your ass whooped by Greg Polius' team in the fantasy football league that we are. You lost. I am currently on a 2-game win streak after losing a couple games. You were boasting about beating me 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago, it's cool for you to bring up the past, but if I bring up week 1, when I destroyed you by 80 points and you only beat me by 5, I'd rather lose by 5 than lose by 80. I'm sorry. And then now you try to do this. Oh, well, Aaron Jones is hurt. Come talk to me. I got A.J. Dillon for you. And I'm like, I'm not going to give you one of my best players for a mediocre backup that's only going to be good for 2 weeks, and then that's it. I'm still in the playoff hunt and stuff like that, and I'm good. But other than that, Travis, you are not the football guy. Your trades are atrocious, and obviously it will probably be exploited throughout the entire sports hit list because even the fellas in that fantasy football league even say that the trades you make are atrocious. Now, and if you don't make the playoffs this year, I don't even care if I get eliminated first round. If you don't make the playoffs this year, I'm talking hella trash. Shout out to Cam Newton, who actually showed what the Panthers have been missing. There you go. That's all I got to say to that.
So I'm going to jump in on that. My hands of the week, obviously, are going to go to New York Jets. No
Rex Ryan?
Not yet. Rex Ryan's next week. Don't worry. This week is all about the Jets. Mike White, listen, I still think he's got a lot of potential, and he's been showing it. But on Thursday, you come out and say you should be the first overall pick, and you're going to show everybody that you should be the first overall pick. But then you throw 4 picks. If you're trying to be the first overall pick like Trevor Lawrence, then I understand. But if you're really trying to be an elite quarterback, coming out and throwing 4 picks against Buffalo, where you have to be on your A game to be able to really play and hopefully win, you really didn't do it. And I give them the hands of the week because I went to AC this weekend on Sunday, and I put a 25 spot down on thinking that if I hit on that 25, I'd get about $200 back. And I lost on them. So you know what I did? I went against my feelings of how I feel about him coming on, because I wrecked Declan on it, on how he's on this bandwagon. Cam Newton back! Yay! I was against it, and I still kind of am, but I said, you know what? I'm going to go against my feelings. And I put a 25 spot on the Panthers. And I'll tell you right now, I tripled my money.
Okay.
Got my money back. But then I was greedy and said the Raiders are going to come out strong against the Chiefs.
Next time you do something like that, you call me first.
And I put a 20 spot on it.
Oh, jeez.
And I could have won. Another $100. But I lost that 20 within the third quarter. So my hands of the week goes to, yes, with the Raiders, but also.
First off, give yourself the hands for even thinking about that. That was a game you don't touch.
I felt good about it.
Be better, Mike.
Kansas City, it does not show me they can be, because we even saw it yesterday. Look at the Los Angeles Rams. It's any given Sunday. They lost against a 3-5.
They got cooked. They didn't lose. They got cooked.
And made to be seen that sometimes having that many stars, aka Ant, I hope you're still listening, sometimes having that many stars on a team does not make you the best contender for a championship. And with that being said,
wait, hold on. We forgot one thing before we cut off.
Go ahead.
MLB MVP will be announced on the 18th. Who is your NL and AL MVP?
I'm gonna let you go first.
Nah, man, you gotta go. I got last, bro. I get this last. You already know who I'm going with.
So who's the so tell me again who's in the running?
All six players, all 3 on each side, didn't make the playoffs this year. You got on the AL side, you got Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Shohei Ohtani, and I believe, I don't know if it's Devers.
I think it's Devers. You're right. I think it's Devers.
I'm not sure. Correct me. I think hopefully somebody in the comments can write it real quick. But I know in the National League, it's Juan Soto, Fernando Tatis, and Bryce Harper.
I'm going to say right now, I'm going to go on a limb. Ohtani is winning the AL over Vlad. And I think Bryce Harper wins over Juan Soto for NL.
You're not invited to DR. I'm banning you. I'm putting you on.
Apparently.
I
just went against 2 DR guys.
I know what you did with that angle. You went with the 2 light-skinned guys. That's what you did, Mike.
Oh, no.
That's whoa. I'm playing that card. I'm playing that card right now.
All right.
I'm playing those cards.
Who you got?
Come on. You really asked that question?
Vlad and Juan?
Vlad and Fernando or Juan. Those are the only three I'm going with. I'm going against it. Even though, unfortunately, I think you are going to be right on Ohtani winning. And I believe the person that said it in Smoke and Mirrors when we did the predictions for AL MVP and NL MVP, it was Stefan that went with Ohtani. So, we got back Magic Jr.
So,
Yeah,
Mr.
sorry about that.
It's okay, Mr. Magic
No worries.
Jr.
Before we go,
do you have any closing remarks?
hold on.
Yeah,
No. He has to remember, as a guest, he must give out. Who do you give the hands of the week to?
There you go.
The hands of the week?
Yes.
The hands of the week has to go to, I would say, what's that guy's name? Jordan Eugene, I believe is his name, from the group. Yeah, hands of the week goes to Jordan.
And why is that?
And why hands of the week goes to Jordan is because,
aren't they 1 in 16?
Yes, he's at the bottom of the cave yelling, and I can hear his little echo and stuff like that or whatever. So the reason I'm giving him hands of the week is not for violence. It's really just for company. Like, he needs company down there and stuff like that. So he can play with his hands. He can play with the hands of the week. You know what I mean? And, you know, everything will be good down there in that basement.
Oh, man. And he put him in the dungeon. He playing with it over there?
He's in the cave.
Damn.
That's cool.
Maybe he could use the hands to start a fire or something like that. You know, you never know.
Oh.
You know,
he's saying he doesn't. Damn, he doesn't even use moisturizer. Damn,
I don't know.
He's ashy like that. That's savage, man. That's savage.
I haven't been down there, so I don't know what he's looking like. I really don't know. You know, tell him to send a smoke signal or something.
Breaking news. I just saw right now. Apparently, Joe Harris is going to be missing a couple weeks because of a sprained ankle. Because he has a sprained ankle. So, I mean, I really don't care about Joe Harris. I'm happy I don't have to see him tonight. Thank God.
He'll still be on the sideline. You can wave to him.
Yeah, right. I'll probably break his other ankle.
Nah, we need solid Joe.
Nah. He ain't until he redeems himself in the playoffs and go. I expect him to go 10-10 in every single playoff game this year. That's the only way he can redeem himself.
So, Mr.
And we know that's not happening.
As we do with every fan that's on the show, and we would love to have you back anytime you'd like. You know, we'll give you the key. We'll let the landlord leave the door open for you.
You know I'm bruh man. You know I'm always come through the window. You know,
bruh man.
That's okay. The window will be open too. You getting excited?
Make me a sandwich.
I love it. But what are your closing remarks as we close out another week of the Fan Zone?
I just want to shout out to Babylon who cut me off. You know, that's what happened. You know, when I was preaching and everything like that. You know what I mean? That was Babylon. You know what I mean? For cutting me off and everything. But lastly, I just want to say, you know what it is. Big ballers, you see what we doing to the league. Y'all know what's up. Y'all see what's going on. And also, Lakers in 5. Shit.
Oh, against who? Who?
Anybody, you name them.
Sorry.
So you actually wait a second.
Sorry.
Wait a second. You actually think you're gonna beat Golden State?
Beat Golden State. What?
With a healthy Clay? Oof.
What?
That's tough.
Golden State better hope they don't see us in the playoffs. They better hope they lose and get eliminated before they see us in the playoffs.
So hold on.
Give me your supplier and pass me along some, because what you're smoking exactly.
Listen. Pull up.
So hold on. Hey, a fully healthy Warriors and a fully healthy Lakers team. You really believe that the Lakers will cook them?
Yeah, the Warriors are cute. Like, I like that everybody, you know, got the Warriors in their high hopes and everything like
watch
that.
Watch the game tonight. Watch the game.
Then they like when Clay comes back, you know, they're gonna be really a powerhouse and different stuff. I
Don't
don't
forget
believe it.
Wiseman. Wiseman actually would be healthy.
Yeah,
for
him
once.
too. You know what I mean? That is cute, but you know what I mean? Like it's a long season. We'll see.
So tonight's game, if you're gonna watch it, who you think scores more tonight, Curry or KD? That's what they've been talking about on Twitter tonight.
Tonight,
Curry
I
scored
say-
35.
35? I say KD drop 45.
Okay.
I think
Possible 50.
I think Steph is gonna score more, but the Nets are gonna win.
I appreciate that.
Well, listen, and you always know how to end a show with people shaking their heads and my blood boiling. So we definitely got to have you back. But for now,
I'm here.
we gotta sign off. I'm Mike Phillips. We got Hoodie Manny with his little hands in the background, and thank you to our special guest, Mr. Magic Jr. himself.
Hoodie Magic.
Hoodie Magic. Appreciate
Hoodie
you
Magic.
hopping on. Don't forget the live show tomorrow at 4:00 with the Maestro, as well as Smoke and Mirrors on Friday at 4:30. All right. Thanks a lot, fellas.
We are the Fan Zone.
Manny, you got lucky in the fantasy.
Oh wait, yeah.
Yeah.
I cooked you. No, ain't no
you got
luck.
lucky.
You got cooked
lucky.
7-1. 7-1.
lucky.
You got cooked. And I wish I said, yo, ain't good luck. I try to be cordial.
I don't need
try to
your
be
luck.
respectful. I was trying to say good game, Magic, and you would just like you slap my hand, you spit in my face,
right.
and you
I'm
said,
not a good sportsman.
I'm
no.
like that.
Right. I'm not a good sportsman.
Have a good night.